Hello. I have a theory student who's finding it difficult, she's an adult, finding it difficult to understand irregular time groupings, note values. She understands the basic, like a crotchet can equal 2 quavers, or even 3 quavers when it's written as a triplet. She understands semiquavers and demi-semiquavers and hemi-demi-semiquavers. I try to explain that everything, no matter what, can be divided into 2 halves, 4 quarters, 8/8, 16/16, etc. So a crotchet can be divided into 2 quavers, 4 semiquavers, 8 demi-semiquavers, 16 hemi-demi-semiquavers. But then I said to her, well, what about the other fractions? How are they written? We haven't got a specific note for a third of a crotchet, or a specific note for a fifth, or sixth, or seventh of a crotchet, or 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. So, as you can hear, the metronome beating there, it's set as 1 beat per second, i.e. 60 beats per minute. And the beat can represent any particular note. It could be a minim being played there. But the note I'm playing with the metronome, as I said, could be a crotchet. If this is a crotchet, and these are quavers, and these are semiquavers, and those are demi-semiquavers. Now, I haven't got the facility in my fingers to rattle off any faster notes than those. But let's just look at the ones in between, ones I can do. Thirds, fifths, sixths, and then sevenths. Not so easy on a single note. Take 2 notes. So these are crotchets, quavers. So those are halves. So that's 120 of these in a minute. Triplets. So these are thirds. 180 of those in a minute. Or 60 triplets. Semiquavers. Those are quarters of a second each. So 4 makes 1 second. 240 makes a minute. Those are fifths. Sixths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I couldn't say it when I was playing. I went from sevenths to eighths. In this two-note pattern, we always get in the even, the twos, the fours, and the sixths, the stronger note on the lower note. Stronger as the rhythm. Twos, 1, 2, 1, 2, sorry, 1, 2, 1, 2. Strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. Those were quavers, twos. Now fours. 2, 3, 4. Strong, weak, 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 strong, weak, 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 strong, weak, weak, weak. And sixes are like threes with one note in between. These were threes. Sixes will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So every time we have the beat, let's play a beat in the left hand. These are crotchets still. They're crotchet beats. And then play with the right hand. Quavers. Triplets. Fours. So the left hand is constant. Fives. So that's where we get strong on the down note, alternating with strong on the up note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. And then we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have sevens again. It'd be alternating strongly to strongly to. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 8 back to strong on the lower note each time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7's the only number that's got 2 syllables in. So I started saying set instead of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1. And so on. 9 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Believe me, those are 9s. And so on. So that's with the metronome beat representing a crotchet. But if it was representing a quaver, then everything, then we don't have any crotchets. So everything would move up, if you like, move up. So quavers would be single. Sorry. These are quavers now. So then twos would be 2 semiquavers. Because they're halves. Thirds would be a triplet of semiquavers. Oh, before we continue, I forgot to say how the fifths and sixths and sevenths would be written. Well, they would be written as semiquavers, but with a little number underneath. So 4 semiquavers without a number. We don't need a number under 4 semiquavers. But when we have 5 semiquavers, there has to be a little 5 written underneath, usually italic. Then in italic 6, there are 6 notes to fit into the beat. Italic 7. We don't need 8 because that's our new note, which would be a demisemiquaver. Then 9 would be written as 9 demisemiquavers with a 9 underneath. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 would all be demisemiquavers with the figure underneath it, usually italic. Then when we come to 16, we've got our hemi-demisemiquavers, so we don't need to write 16. Now, if the beat is quavers, then we go from a quaver to 2 semiquavers to a triplet of semiquavers, and then we've got our 4 demisemiquavers. Then 5 semiquavers, 6 demisemiquavers, 7 demisemiquavers, and then 8 would be hemidemisemiquavers, 9 hemidemisemiquavers, 10 hemidemisemiquavers. These are all divisions of the quaver. Now, this could represent a minim. And if it's a minim, then these are crotchets. Then these are triplets of crotchets. And then these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 quavers. So everything's been doubled with minims compared to crotchets. And with a quaver, everything was halved of the crotchet values. So when we get 5, they're written as crotchets. No, sorry, quavers. They're written as quavers. 6 as quavers, 7 as quavers. And then when we get 8, they'll be written as semiquavers without a need of a number. And so on. Are you getting to understand this? I hope so. So that was note divisions without anything written down. Go into the music and find certain notes. For instance, here we have, in this particular piece, we've got triplet semiquavers there. See the italic 3 on the first one. And then we've got duplet quavers there, because this is actually in 9/8, which is another explanation, another lesson. This piece is in 2/4, and we've got our normal crotchets and quavers and dotted quavers and semiquavers in this piece. There's no irregular groupings in that piece. I'm looking for simple time signatures. Now in this one, which is in 2/4, we have demisemiquavers there, which represents 1 quaver. We have plenty of semiquavers there, which represents 2 semiquavers making 1 quaver. And we've got dotted quavers there. And we've got a dotted semiquaver here, followed by a demisemiquaver. It's all pure maths. It's all mathematical divisions. But there aren't any irregular groups like 3s and 5s in that piece. I'm keeping to simple time signatures. Now here in 2/4, i.e. 2 crotchets to a bar, we can see 2 crotchets in the left hand there against 1 quaver, 2 semiquavers and a crotchet in the right hand. But here we have a triplet of semiquavers following a duplet of semiquavers. So normally 2 semiquavers equal a quaver, or 4 semiquavers equal a crotchet. But this time we've got 2 semiquavers and a triplet of semiquavers making 1 crotchet, or 2 quavers. So the performer has to break down the rhythm, the timing, and understand that you could count 2 crotchets in a bar, or you could count 4 quavers in a bar to make the note divisions easier to understand. Here it's basically 4/4, C for common time, crotchets and quavers, and minims. So this is, as I said, simple time, as in 3/4, And we've got our 6 quavers there and 3, 4, 6 quavers there in the left hand. And we've got syncopation to begin with. Ta 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 ta. Quaver, crotchet, crotchet, quaver. That's very simple to see. 3, 4 time, 3 crotchets in a bar. Very simple. You can see that in the left hand. So that's crotchets and minims. But I'm still looking for some more irregular timings. But I haven't got any Chopin on the piano stand at the moment. But here, right at the beginning of this number, we have looking at the black notes, a crotchet followed by 2 quavers, followed by a triplet of quavers. Ta, 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 followed by 2, 3 crotchets. So that rhythm goes ta, 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 ta. So if they were all 1 second each, second, halves, thirds, 1, 1, 1, 1, half, thirds. So the thirds are obviously slightly faster, quicker than the halves. So there's an obvious example of what's known as an irregular group. A triplet isn't that irregular. I mean, 5s and 7s and 9s and 15s like you would have. Now here, we've got very definitely an irregular group. We've got 7 demi-semiquavers there. If you look, we've got a crotchet rest followed by a quaver rest. A crotchet rest followed by a quaver rest. And the 7 is worth a quaver. Normally, 4 demi-semiquavers make a quaver. We could be 4/4 time, but actually it's 2/2 time. But let's go for 4/4 time to make it easier to understand. Crotchets, 4 crotchets in a bar, 2 minims in a bar, 8 quavers in a bar. Not there are 8 quavers in this piece. But then we have not 4 demi-semiquavers making a quaver, but 7. So they're play quite fast. And then we have a triplet of quavers. See the italic 3? The other numbers are fingering numbers for your fingering. So there we are. We're finishing there then with this piece by Grieg, understanding the irregular time signature, the irregular grouping of 7 demi-semiquavers. Well, I hope that's helped with the simple time note divisions. Just to recap, when we've got the metronome, it could represent a crotchet or minim. Those notes could be crotchets or minims. But the division can still be halves, thirds, quarters, fifths, sixths, sevenths, eighths, ninths, tenths, 11th, etc. But we only have a certain number of different notes. For instance, in a crotchet pulse, we can only have crotchets, quavers, semiquavers, demi-semiquavers, and hemi-demi-semiquavers. So we've only got 5 different notes to cover many different groupings. 2 quavers is a duplet. 3 quavers is also quavers, but known as triplets. 4 semiquavers, but 5, 6, and 7 are written as semiquavers as well. 8 demi-semiquavers, but 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are written as demi-semiquavers. Then we have our 16 hemi-demi-semiquavers, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Is that it? Can we go any higher? And they would be written as hemi-demi-semiquavers. So, get your piece of paper out and write down a crotchet and all of its divisions. Or write down a minim and all of its divisions. Or write down a quaver and all of its divisions. And then we go on to compound time, the divisions of a dotted crotchet, or the divisions of a dotted minim. That's for another lesson. Thank you for listening.